שלחנו עליו. שיעורים יום. שיעורים ביום, מהאדמו. זה היה 5 גאות יצא עכשיו. שמע לכם שיר.
שלום עליכם רבי. שלום עליכם.
אני יצא לארץ. Yeah. Shalom. Today we
recording in progress.
Shalom. Today we put up the topic on someone asked Busha told somebody the main thing is in life lo lekalkel. So I asked them, so how lo mekalkelim? How do I don't destroy what I have? So Busha said, lo metaknim, don't try to fix it. Which is a very strong message. It has a very deep message. I hope that we'll be able to get through it. I just need help from the crowd because there's nobody here live, so whoever wants to ask can ask. And that will get me going. We find that the Rusha said that the person comes home and his wife, whoever it is, comes very nice to him, smiles to him. And he's so overwhelmed that he takes out his credit card and he's very happy to help as much as they want. And then at the next day, they actually stop. Oh, I'm sorry about this. I didn't do this yet. 1 second. Second, sorry.
ברוכים הבאים למערכת שידורי תורה שעל ידי כל הלשון. בחר את הנושא של השיעור שהנכם עומדים בחרתם להקליט לתוך שיחה.
לא לקלקל.
הנכם עוברים למצב המתנה עד לתחילת השיעור. כאשר הנכם עוברים כרגע לשידור, בסיום נתקו את הקו.
Yes, I'm sorry. So we started off that today's topic is someone came into Russia and asked Russia, how can I be matzliach? She said, all you need is lo lekalkel. Don't destroy what you have. So he asked him, eich lo mekalkelim? How can I not destroy what I have? Russia answered, lo metaknim. Don't try to fix it. It's a very deep message. I'll try to explain it today. Secondly, when coming into Chodesh Uda, the Gemara says, Mi sheroitze sheyiskayim yenachusav. Anyone that wants his assets to be sure, yita behem uda. He should plant a tree which is called uda. Pashtus, it's a fence, a natural fence that people cannot come in, so that's pass. But it has a deeper meaning to it. was once told a young man, you come home, your wife is very nice to you, smiling, you're so overwhelmed, you take out your credit card and spend, and happy. The next day you come home, suddenly she's ignoring you. So you get all broken. But if you would have known that when she smiles, or a child, or anyone, a worker, employer, smiles to you, it's the bunch of them smiling to you. Then, when they don't smile to you, you're not going to be broken. So, to explain it, why when I be broken? I need that smile all the time. Whenever I come, so it makes no difference. Who gives it to me? If my wife gives it to me, the Bunsham gives it to me. When a person's not smiling, as we said, the person comes into Chasana, and he's all busy. Who's looking at him, who's not looking at him, who's ignoring him, who's approving him, etc. To start off, I think we spoke about, but to say it again, there's a Sasemis. Sasemis says that the Medrash says there are two waves in life, two paths. One path starts off with koitzim, it's thorns. And at the end of the koitzim, there is mishor, then becomes a plain, regular road. And there's a road that starts off mishor, very smooth. At the end, it becomes koitzim. So this Sasemis, it's not two ways, it's all the same road we're talking about. And now here in this now world that we are, there's nothing that is only mishor, that is straight, and there's nothing that is only koitzim, which has thorns. And everything in your life, there'll always be good things and also bad things. Why? Because once the Creator is only up there before creation of the world, there is no bad or good. It's all emes, it's all good. But once there's a creation, the creation itself becomes a suffering of a shleimus, of a wholeness. You'll always be suffering. But the question is, if you're going to look at this world, it's a world only suffering, or you're going to look at this world, it's only shleimus, or both are not right. It's not only suffering. We have times that we do connected to ourselves. We do find ourselves. If you think it's only shleimus, then you're also off track, because there's always things that's not in your control. But you have to know there's both in the world, also mishor and also koitzim. So what is the way that we can be calm? Is when whatever I start doing, I have to know beforehand that there is koitzim here. That means, to explain it better, the world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created here will not, you have to be okay that you're not okay. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world in such a way that shleimus, Hashem is the only one that is shleimus. The person will always be shleimus. That means everything in this world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, if you never accept the failure, you'll always be suffering. That means the only one that is shleimus, that is whole, is the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the only one that is perfect. As long as I'm trying to be the one that's perfect, I'll always be falling down. So as long as the person does not approve, it's not masking, that actually he's always in a stage of suffering. Why? Because whatever he'll be doing, if it's begashmias, if it's berochnias, he'll never get to the shleimus of the zach. If it's in time, place, people, Mela, what we have to focus on is not to get rid of the suffering or through fixing the suffering. That's what the Buddha says, lo metaknim, because as long as you are busy that you can fix it, then you're messing it up more. Why? Because every person that suffers usually is trying to fill up some gap. How do you fill up that gap? Buddha said there's two ways. Either you go into yush, which is atzvus, depression, or you go into hefkerus, which is doing stupid things. And all of that gives me a satisfaction that I'm filling up the gap. Or I take substances, and what happens is the addiction starts getting bigger and bigger. Because even though if I fill it up, I never come to the end of it. There'll always be something missing that I didn't get to it. So actually, a person has to decide where he's going to. He has to know that the main thing we're here in life is not to fix; we're here to survive. Survive, we call it atzula. Atzula means don't make the matzah worse. Because if you're trying to fill it up with your understanding, if you're trying to fill it up with your doing and not being, you'll always be missing. There's one place that a person can feel himself filled up, is through being. Being means the bituch, being is spiritually with faith. Once a person goes into bituch, actually what is bituch? Bituch, the Buddha used to say, is tia batuach shata lo batuach. Once you're sure that you're not sure in a practical way, you're not sure in a gashmidik way, you're not sure even rochnis, but you're one thing sure, whatever Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you, he gives you the right words, he gives you the right timing, and the right people, and the right place that you are, then actually you're not suffering. The only suffering comes from the only pressure that a person is only because he feels himself helpless, and a person is helpless automatically. He goes into a stress, and that stress goes out of control because he's trying all the time to fill it up, and there's no way to fill it up because a person will always be missing. We find the Sfasema says, Yankele, there will always be, the Sfasema says, Lamanik Yesur Shulamis, Melech, Shashulam, Shaloi. How can you call Klalis Ur Shalamis? Shalamis means shleimness, wholeness. No, but as we're saying now, you have to be okay that you're not okay. You have to know that Rebbeinu Shalom is the Ein Sof. Then automatically, how do I fill it up? I fill it up through faith. That means, what does faith mean? What does bitucha mean? Melech shashulim shaloi. I don't need a shleimness. Rebbeinu Shalom is my shleimness. I say that example that a person goes to, as I said last week, a person goes to a bank and gets a pre-approval for a loan, and once the pre-approval is there, he can start going shopping for real estate, and he knows everything is there. So he's much sure about himself. So that is, a person has bituchen that when I come down to this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives everything that a person needs. He gives him the health that he needs. He gives him the money that he needs. He gives him the gashmis, the rochmis, every place that he has to be in, places that he doesn't need, they won't give it to him. That means what he'll give it to him the minute he needs it. So it's just like a person has a pre-approval, but the pre-approval It's not, the bank doesn't give you the money until you show what you're going to do for it and bring all your papers, whatever they tell you to bring. So the bank as itself has enough money to give you. And once it's approved, and everybody has his approval here as long as here in this world, because Baruch gave him the approval. But if something happens and you need it and you don't get it, it's not that you're not going to get it. You're going to get it, but in the meantime, you have to wait that there's something missing. So we know what is missing. What is missing is actually not of my part in physically. It's the part of bituchen, part of a minna. Because as much as Baruch wants to give us, as much as the bank wants to give you money, but he wants to be sure that it's not going to mess you up. So you have to see that you're forwarding the improvement, whatever you're doing there, that you're trying to build or trying to buy. So you have to step by step. You get the money that was approved for you. The same thing here, and from one Baruch wants to give you. He's still waiting from my side to show that actually what I have is the bunch. It's called Toivli ki inesi. Leman elmat chikechu. The Holy Yisod Shabush says, in order chikechu, it means I'm ready to get. I know that right now I have to be on hold, but not I'm on hold because you don't want to give it to me. I'm on hold because you want me to go into a place of bituchen. Bituchen is a place. Bituchen is a place that we are. Bituchen is a place that we are. We're always there. That we have to be in a quiet place. That means toivli ki inaisi. Not only as long as I feel uncomfortable, as long as I feel myself in stress, as long as I feel myself ashamed that I'm not whole, then there's something missing in my bituchen. Because the more a person is in bituchen, the more a person has faith, automatically he's much calmer. Automatically all the manipulators around him will very fast won't have what to do with him. But the biggest manipulator that we have is the Yetzer Hara, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows you once you're falling into that black place, it's because if it's up to the Rebbeinu, he's the one Nisham Yispor Kapal over. Once we're connected to him, so I'm not afraid. A person that has a pre-approval and goes to a business, he has no problem that the business won't go through because he knows exactly what he has to do, and if there's a delay, you know, get another 10 days a note. That means because there's everything out there, and it happens. So if it happens, it's going to happen only when you're sure that you're not sure. You need a betuchen. But as long as you're in stress, your stress actually comes from where does it come? Dafka, from a place that you would like it to be whole, but it cannot be whole. That means I have to know my whole shleimus of a human being is dafka, the part that is not shleimus. As long as he wants to be that he should be the shleimus, then he's just going to lose it. We get up in the morning and we say, Moed ani lefanechu, shechzartu b'neshmusi b'chemlu, rabba menusechu. When does that happen? That happens dafka in the morning when a person is in his weakest spot that can be. But and we say the Rebbeinu, we're not broken from this, just the opposite around. I know how can I get up? My pre-approval is still here. Every day a person gets up in the morning, he knows that he's living. There's a famous story of the Moshe Psasser went out for pigeon shviyah, and he needed to collect money, and it was going pretty hard for him. So he asked his friend, the son of the Baditcher Ruf, if he can help him do the collecting. So they came along with him, called the Spinka Rebbe, and they started collecting. Came at night, they had to go to sleep somewhere, they didn't have where to sleep. So Moshe Leib had no problem, knocked on the first door, they let him in, and they went up on the attic, prepared a little bit of straw, and they both went to sleep. Moshe Leib was very used to this type of accommodations, and he fell right away asleep. But the song for the Bishop was never in such a hotel, as they call it. That's accommodations, he couldn't fall asleep. He was trying the right side, the left side, pushing the straw as much as he can. Finally falls asleep, but suddenly it starts raining outside, and it starts dripping from the roof, dropping right down on him. And he starts krächzing, the son of the Bishop. Oi, 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 till the Moshe Leib gets up and sees what's going on. So suddenly Moshe Leib starts krächzing. And he says, "Oh, thank you very much that my right hand doesn't hurt." Can you imagine if my right hand would hurt? I wouldn't be able to sleep all night. I wouldn't be able to sleep on my right side. Oh, Hashem, he became quiet, then he started again. Hashem, thank you very much that my left side is not hurting. My left heart side would be hurting. Oh, I wouldn't be able to sleep, not on the right side, not on the left side. And he kept on going. His back is not hurting till he counted about 13 limbs that Hashem that it's not hurting, and thank the Rebbe. So Dafka the Ishlemus, my failure, that is my shlemus. That's what gets me to connect, because even Udam Arishon, from day one that he was created, the Torah says we put him into Gan Eden la'ovda v'l'shamra. There will always be something missing that we need to fix. What is that missing? We'll always be missing, coming back to that Ein Sof that we came from there, and we'll always have that cheshik to be there. It's just Meusid Luvay, when Mashiach will come, be the same thing too. It will always be missing. Whatever place a person is, could always be missing something. Not because. 1 second. Not because he's missing. It's because it's not because he's missing something. Because he created him exactly what he can do. But if you try to fix it your way without giving a minimum betuchum, that means spiritually you'll always be missing. So as long as a person understands that when it comes these times, it's coming actually to reconnect me, not to disconnect me, then he can be very calm in those times, even more than anyone else. I heard a good story that there was the Spinka Rebbe that was traveling in Pittsburgh, and he had a steady driver, and that driver one day comes to work and he sees that the driver has a steering wheel next to him. So he asks him, "What's that steering wheel?" He said, "That steering wheel is I have a hypo child, hyperactive, and he has a institution where he goes by day, but in the afternoon there is no school, so I take him into my car, and it's very dangerous. He jumps on my steering wheel, so I put in an extra steering wheel, and he's turning the steering wheel, and he thinks he's running the car, and that's why I have it quiet." So the Spinka Rebbe said, "Oh, now we understand that Hashem does it with us too. He gives us a steering wheel in the hand. We should think that we're doing the steering wheel. Meantime, he's doing it. So that means even though I turn right and turns left, that's only, it gives me that koyach, and the times that we turn the steering wheel, we think we're doing it, but in order that we should be connected while we're doing it, he has to sometimes do another way that you should be sure that you should not release. You should be able to keep yourself. Because in Samaga says, why do we call a Yid a Yid? Yid, we know the Shem Havaya is set down by Yud, K, Wulf K. That means Yud is called a Yid, a Jew. A Yid is Hoive. He lives always with the present. That means the only problem is that we can't live with the present. That's when we lose it. So we want to be next minute. We don't live in this place. We want to be in another place. We can't live with this person. I want with another person. That's how we say every day, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What does Echad mean? That everything is oneness. The Rebbeinu Shalom is oneness. I'm part of the Rebbeinu Shalom. There's no other thing besides the Rebbeinu Shalom. But how do I know if it's only saying or it's living it? So we have to say further, I'll check it out. We'll have to. Do you love the Rebbeinu Shalom? Do you love him only when you have all the money that you need and all the people, the places, and the time that you are? Or you're ready to say, we'll have to. I feel noitless nafshechu. I feel a noitless mamaychu took away your money. I feel it changes places that you're not so comfortable about it. But you don't disconnect because of that, because you feel that this disconnection is only disconnected materially, but in Rochnis it will build my faith, which actually that is the only tachlis that Hu brought us down here in this world, is to make him famous, to make him Amzi Yotzatari, Telusi Sapai. We're the ones that have to have the feeling that we can think we are something, and we're ready to give it away for him. No other creation in the world, not a Malach, not a Daim, not a Tzemach, not a Chai, has this privilege to think that they can be something else that they are. The person is the only one that can talk himself into it, that he's running the world, that he's running the show. So that's what we started off, that Busha said, the person has to watch out in this world. Lo lekalkel. When is the biggest kilkul? When is the biggest harm that you're doing to yourself? Lo letaken. If you think you're going to change the chetzonis of the zach, you can do it either in a physical way, in a technical way, and you have to do whatever you can do in technical, but as long as it doesn't get you nervous. But if it got you off track and got you nervous, then there must be some problem with me that I'm trying to fix. That thing that he left for himself empty, but not that it is empty. If I need it, I'll get it because I have an approval. So the more a person believes in that approval, that means have a tzaddik v'al teirusha, then I promise you, I'll give you everything because everything is ready for you. Because I have to see if you're doing according to the regulations and the rules, and then I'll give it to you. So then not only a person doesn't become nervous, he thanks the Rebbeinu Shalom. We say by davening, Ani b'chazdechu b'tachti yugail libi v'shirsechu v'shir l'Hashem ki gum le'olai. We say the Rebbeinu Shalom, Ani b'chazdechu b'tachti. If I do chesed, sometimes I want to do chesed, sometimes I don't want to do chesed. Some people I want to give them chesed, some people I don't want to give them chesed. The Rebbeinu Shalom's chesed, that the whole world is olam chesed yaduna. His chesed is not without any strings attached, as we say. There's no unconditionally. That means whatever I need, I get from him. That means that when a person needs something and it's out there, but how does he give it to us? He doesn't give it to us in cash. He gives it to us in Pesach es Yodechu, Umazbiya l'chol chai rutzain. Rutzain means oisis tzina. We have to make a relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom. So that we make the relationship to the Rebbeinu Shalom, which is the bituchen, which is the faith, as the Ramchal calls it, the shiaschu kivisi Hashem. We make a kav, we make a connection. That connection is the place where Pesach es Yodechu, Umazbiya l'chol chai rutzain. But if we don't have that connection, just like we're speaking now, if you have a weak connection and you can't hear me and I can't hear you, but it's not that I'm not talking to you, and it's not that you don't want to hear. We have to see the connection. The connection is both of us make the connections. So the Rebbe makes the connection to us all the time. We can see that in Koil HaNeshama Tehal Kol Aliko. He doesn't stop his connections for a second, but we have these connections through breathing, but from time to time we forget that that is our connection, and we think that our connection will be if I have all the money that I need, all the time that I need, all the people that I need, what I need, and once that is missing, that actually I disconnect in those minutes, but I'm not disconnected from the Rebbe because the Rebbe is still connected to me. So my stress comes from a place that I think that my problem is that I have to fix that connection, but that connection, you don't have to fix it because the connection is there all the time. It doesn't stop for a second. It's only that I went into a consolidated place, a closed place, that I'm not ready to accept this constriction, that is restriction that we're in, but that restriction is there, not that concealment is there, is not to take away, it's helping me to reveal the Rebbe without restriction, without this concealment, the Rebbe cannot reveal himself. So then I understand that this concealment is actually a revealing, then I'm ready to take it. That means we have the rules and the regulations. As long as we're in there, the things are going. When things are not going, it's not einish. As when someone came into a bush and asked, maybe it's ein hara. He says, in this derech, there is no ein hara. It's in this derech. Nobody can harm you in this derech. It's all up to your way, how you look at it. If you look at it as it helps you connect yourself to yourself, that's where you get connected. So that means if a person doesn't want to lekalkel, he doesn't want to destroy, be busy all the time, not to fix with that you have to fix, just the connection. All you have to add on is actually your connection, because you're connected. But there's something, you went in a closed room and you close yourself up, you're not ready to hear, but the Wi-Fi is all over, and all you have to do is let the connection come. So that's what the Gemara says. She is kaimi nechusov yita behen ador. What is yita behen ador? Ador means adir b'amurim Hashem. Every time that a person sees himself that he's in a danger of sakuna, is suffering, he has to decide that he's not here to fix the problem. He's here first. All they want, don't make it worse. Be in a place of rescuing. As long as you're trying to survive. So we said, just like a tzula, when it comes around, it can't make you healthy. But they say that the Chayim Division 7 once came to a doctor, and the doctor told him, well, Rebbe, you have to remember, you're 70 years old, I can't make you younger. So he came to the doctor didn't come to me, you should make me younger, you should make me older. We have to know the bunch is not going to make us younger, but it's going to make us older. Older means what we need right now for the older is that's what he's going to give us. That means every time we don't need things what a baby needs, we don't need things a child needs. We need the things and the place where we are right now. That's what we need. So the same thing is that the Bush says, when you come home and your wife smiles to you, and you're sure that right now you're so hungry for her approval that you're so happy that you take out your credit card, and the minute you don't get approval, you get all destroyed. Your child comes home and very nice, and then you give him everything he needs, and the next day he becomes again nasty. So then it's not his problem, it's my problem, that I need that approval from someone else. I'm not sure about myself. There's a Psudik says, Shem shemitzvah lahamen b'Shem, kach mitzvah lahamen ba'atzmoi. That means if you have the part that you have to believe in, it's not that I'll be able to do it, it's that I'll be able to connect to you. That means that connection that is missing in those minutes is not the doing, it's the being. That means a person that is only being and not doing, will never be connected. Because the connection of Kadosh Baruch Hu sent us down in this world in the place of doing. But if you're doing and not connected, you'll always be missing something. So you have to be doing every day, get out of bed, go to meetings, meet people, go out there, whatever you have to do, your tasks. But when you come into time of stress, it's not because you should stop your task. It's just you improve your connection, improve your being. So then, how do I know if I'm in the mode of going further? As long as I can keep on doing my minimum tasks that I have to do where I am, and I can't be Superman in those minutes, but I can do what I can do. So then I'm just waiting for the approval. That the approval is the pre-approval is there, but now we need the final approval that is missing the connection. Once that connection is there, with that extra Kadosh Baruch Hu is waiting for me, then automatically that's called bituchen. I have everything that I need. Then, as we say, I don't need anyone to approve me that I'm okay. That means I get up in the morning, I approve myself that I'm a being, you're the one that gave me the approval. I don't need anyone else to give me the approval. That means just like there's a mitzvah of believing in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, you have to believe in yourself, because you are here, the messenger of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You are doing here the work. Just like a person tries to get into a very big company. Once he's in that big company, he has that tag or whatever it is with that little flag there, and he knows he's set up. But if he does something that's wrong, I think that the big companies usually don't have to fire people. All you do, you come in the morning and you try to put in your ID into the gate, and it's not working anymore. So someone comes down and gives you all the boxes, all your things, you can go home. That means when it doesn't go through, there's a reason why it doesn't go through. Not that I'm not qualified, because Baruch wants we should reconnect. Once you reconnect, I'm sorry, there must have been a mistake here. But anyways, we have to know, don't get lost from that. The Rebbe used to say, it was the Yutzat last week, Sosu noichi, alimu sechu, kemoitzi shularav. I'm so happy with Imusechu. Imusechu goes on the creation of the world, which is Asura Mamuris. Now, why? Because I know whatever I get from you, there's much, much more up there for me to get. What does Shula Larav mean? He says, just like you come to a certain place and you find a whole shalal, a whole empty, a place empty, you can take as much as you want, but you have a certain time that you can take. So even when you took as much as you can and you go further, you'll always be missing, I was able to take more. That means this world will always feel kemoitzi shularav. Whatever we're going to do, accomplish, if it's in Gashmis, if it's in Rochnis, we'll always feel kemoitzi shularav. There's always missing something. But not that he doesn't want to give it to us. It has to be sosu noichal imusechu. Imusechu is something that a Kadosh Baruch Hu conceals, actually. Because without Imusechu, everything is up there. When it comes to the Mamuris, Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world, that's when the concealment comes. So that's what we started off with Koitzim and Mishra. If I go into this world and I talk myself into, everything has to be Mishra, and something goes wrong, it messed up my day. Nobody messed up the day, as I messed it up myself, because I went into this world. It's a Mishra, it's a plane, it's a straight plane. But if I get up and I know I need work here, what do I need work here? I have to do Koitzim helps me. The thorns help me to get that Mishra, but I'll get that Mishra, that pre-approval, only when I decide that I'm Koitzim, the Bernstein is the Mishra. As you said, Lo letaken. Maybe we have here three things we can accomplish with this way. Number one, it's called Midas Ishtavis. As the Busha said, if you live Chitusin at this moment, which is called, you'll always be suffering. All you can do right now is survival. then then you'll always be in faith. If you remember these three things, you'll always be in a shtavis, always happy. And nobody will be able to manipulate you, because that's the one that manipulates you. If it's a horror, if it's other persons around, people around you, actually I myself is inviting the manipulations. They're always looking for these eyes that are looking for, they don't have self-approval, waiting for someone to approve them, and I'm sorry to say that, but they manipulate the person, and they're just leaving him more trouble than he was. And mainly, Busha says we don't need big things to remind us that we forgot him. After David HaMelech finished the whole Tilim, and whatever he went through, he came to a conclusion: I don't need the son, I don't need my wife, I don't need my children, I don't anyone. I can do the work on myself. Every breath that a person breathes, says the Busha, we have to shoot it as if the alte Yidene that will happen the mutter, like an old woman that's always trying to catch her breath, and every time she catches her breath, she's so happy. So if you see those nice cars out there that they put on here in Israel, a sticker, Baruch Hashem, Anin Hashem, but if you make a scratch on the car, they get all nervous. Why? Because they're not living Baruch Hashem, Anin Hashem. Once a person is living Baruch Hashem, Anin Hashem, and no scratch will take anything away from him, because he is connected. That connection will bring you all the bruchas. The more you want to be sure that have the betuchen, as long as you're betuch that you're not betuch. And what is your betuchen? Adim b'amurim Hashem. Then yiskaimi in the suchav, you'll be netzach yisur lo yeshaka. Your netzuchen will be there always, but you have to remember three netzchoines we need. We need netzuchen, that suffering will always be, even when Mashiach will come, there was always something missing. Netzuchen has to be, we always have to be in the mode of atzula, not fixing. And thirdly, the netzuchen is, when we get to that betuchen, is netzach yisur, we're the only one. When we say netzach with lo yeshuka, we're not lying. If I say that it will be always suffering, I'm not lying, because even when Mashiach will come, it will always be something missing. Even when Mashiach will come, we won't be able to fix everything, because the Baruch Shalom will always be higher than us. Even when Mashiach will come, our betuch won't be in such a, we'll be able to connect ourselves much easier, because the sitrach won't be there. That's kind of netzach Yisrael, the only one that can be sure that he's sure is the only one who's sure that he's not sure that he's netzach. Any questions?
The road of thorns is always there only when you're disconnected, no?
So you can always be connected, but the question is, how far does it have to be between the connection to the disconnection? That's what's up to you. If you need a reminder, so the company, you BDI as they call it these days, they check you out how your credit is. You once a check bounced once, twice, 3 times on how it works. Then they become very tough with you, and they schlep you out. But if you have a clean BDI and then things go smoothly, how do you have a clean BDI? It's up to you. But if you're not reminding yourself when you're reminded, you're reminding yourself that how Baruch created you with your breathing, then automatically every second you're reconnecting, every second you're checking yourself. I think I once heard the big planes out there, the Boeings, when they're all the time checking themselves, is anything missing, and it could be a small wire, but it turns out before it becomes trouble. That means that it's always a highest roots of the shoiv. It's always mutter v'lo mutter, because Baruch is giving to you impulses, but you don't have to wait for those big pulses and those big noises to remind you. Once a good driver can hear on the car and something ticking there, he knows has to check the oil, checks the engine, and he's always on the ball. Why? Because as much the best car that he has, there will always be the tire, always be the rubber, something out there.
I need to wait for it to explode.
Exactly. Slochen alleen wegen.
שכוח רבה.
Kalte, see is fine.
שכוח.
Kalte.
Thank you very much, Rebbe. That's good. That's
Thank you
good.
very much. Kalte, see is fine.
Thank you, Rebbe.
Kalte,
Thank you.
Recording
very much.
stopped.
Thank you. Machst du heute, dann haben wir einen Sturm.
Ja, voet.
Voert,
Mag ik even doen met z'n allen.
Dan sitzt man daheim en spaziert zich.
Ja.
Lass grüß nach Hause. Happy to see you. Kalte Shiur. Kalte tzadikim.
Good, Rebbe.
Kalte
It's good.
really. Thank you very much. Kalte Socha. Kalte Siesman.